Yes guys, and welcome to another video. Now, I thought, given that it's been less than a week since that amazing Wembley weekend, last weekend, I thought I might get a bit of respite. I thought I might have a little bit of a rest. I thought there'd be no updates, there'd be no transfer rumours, nothing for at least a week or two. You know, give me a chance to just chill out. But there's no rest for the wicked because there's been a load of stuff that's been going on over the last couple of days, and we're already into the full swing of transfer rumours, and already there's been leaks of the potential Sunderland away kit for this Premier League return season, which we're going to get into as well. Rumours about Jobe, about a Mundle contract. So we are going to get into that. I'm going to touch upon it all in a little bit of depth, not too much, but I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on that, and of course ask you guys to give your opinions in the comments down below. But first and foremost, I just want to say as well, on the previous video, the sort of celebration of us getting back to the Premier League, I jokingly said at the beginning of that video, I said, can we hit 1,000 likes? It's never going to happen. It's currently, as I'm recording this video anyway, it's currently sat on like 920 likes. So we're actually very stupidly close to 1,000 likes in that video. So if you haven't already, if you could go back to that video and hit a like on it, it'd just be amazing to see it hit 1,000 likes. I just found it amusing more than anything, and also just incredible support from you guys. But yeah, we're going to go into this video. So first and foremost, just a couple of days after, of course, the Wembley win, Keith Dhannoo, of course, North East Sky sports reporter who usually just hides up the arsehole of Newcastle United, he has been reporting on Sunderland because his hand's been forced with everything that's been going on. But essentially, apparently, we are planning, which you kind of expected anyway, so it's not necessarily news, but it's nice to hear that we are planning on opening contract talks with Rory Mcalpine amongst a lot of other key players, which is something I do expect anyway. I think there's a lot of players, of course, they still have a little bit of time left on the contracts, but they're still going to be on championship level contracts, or maybe even less. For some of them are still on League One contracts. I think there will be, on a lot of them, even key players, there will be something within their contract that will immediately instigate a increase in pay, a percentage increase, because of the promotion anyway. So a new contract altogether might not be totally necessary. But there is some, like a Rory Mcalpine, like others, that apparently we do plan on having conversations with, because we know full well, going to the Premier League, there's going to be so many teams now cherry-picking our team. Of course, I think we've got a better chance of keeping certain players because we have been promoted. But equally, if someone in the sort of top six comes calling and comes knocking for some of our players, it'd be hard to begrudge them for even entertaining those ideas, because they might not get that chance ever again. However, you'd like to think they've seen the potential of Sunderland and they want to come along for the ride. And we're going to only add to it this summer as well, which I'm really excited to see which way we go down. Because I'm going to go off tangent here, but I want us, because we've had to remain patient with this sort of process and the philosophy of our owners at the moment. You know, we've seen us sort of cherry pick sort of 17, 18-year-olds from Premier League academies, or some from Europe that we've never heard of before, like an Eliza Mayenda. Troy Hume's a perfect example. He wasn't getting a game in League One, if you remember, and now he turned out to be one of the best, if not the best, right back in the Championship. It's patience, however, with the Premier League and the huge jump in quality, and there's been a big thing about it at the moment, over the last couple of years, trying to bridge that gap between the Championship and the Premier League is near enough impossible, or nearly impossible. Do we really have the time to have that patience to maybe just grab 5 or 6 players who might come good in 2 years' time? I think we just need to really up the level. And I've seen people say, why don't we get some of the best players from the Championship, or even as far afield as League One, which I get for a few. But how many times have we seen in recent seasons, you know, teams that have gone up from the Championship just cherry pick all the best players from the Championship, and it just isn't good enough. And that's not to say it's easy to go and pick Premier League ready players, but this is where you really need to be, what's the word? You need to be brave and really go for it, in terms of maybe try and throw a silly offer on a player that you might not expect to come to Sunderland, but some people, or some players, might like the prospect of it. This is totally for a different video, and I'm going to be rambling here, and this was going to be a totally separate video, but I'm going to ramble anyway. I think Sunderland, with no disrespect to the likes of Sheffield United, Burnley and the like, who have been going up and down all season, for me personally, and I've said this over the weekend to a few people, I think Sunderland is a more exciting prospect to go to, albeit the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United, of course, they've had more recent experience in the Premier League, but all their recent experience in the Premier League has been getting relegated. So when players are looking to get in the Premier League, when they're going to the likes of Sheffield United and to Burnley, etc., they know by looking at recent history, of course it's not guaranteed, but they're likely to go down. They're going there just to get the Premier League experience, and they're going to be going down. It is almost like, even though they're on the rise, it's almost like already joining a sinking ship. Whereas with Sunderland, we don't have that recent history. Of course, we've been in League One, we've been in the Championship, but we haven't been in the Premier League for so long that we don't know. It's almost like an unknown entity. It's a totally new beast, Sunderland. So I see it as a more exciting prospect, and us giving young players an opportunity and a chance, and that now they're flourishing and going into the Premier League as an unknown entity with the potential of the way we've seen the stadium light, the way that our fans back us. I think it is a very exciting prospect for a lot of players, even players that you might not expect to even look at Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? That's just my little ramble anyway. So I do think we should be up in the ante when it comes to players we could be going for. We could get rejected 9 times out of 10 for certain players, but I just think we need to really go for it because that gap, as I say, is huge. But anyway, I've gone way off topic there. I've done 5 minutes of just nothingness. But we'll see anyway, of course. Again, no disrespect to the likes of Burnley, Leeds and that have gone up. I'm not saying they're not, I'm not saying they're not good prospects or exciting prospects to go to. Of course not. They're big clubs there and they're in the Premier League on merit. I'm just talking about recent history and I'm repeating myself. But either way, also, this man here, Jobe, literally within 48 hours of maybe 3 days possibly after that playoff final, there has been pictures of him in I think it was just arriving at a German airport with family, with the reports that he is or has been discussing terms with different German teams. I think Frankfurt, possibly. I think maybe in Frankfurt and Dortmund as well. But then since those rumours, within 24 hours, there has also been updates and there have been reports suggesting that he has knocked them back and he's going to stay at Sunderland. For me, I've said to many people, and I don't know whether I'm touching it in here really much with Jobe, I said even with promotion, I fully expect Jobe to leave. In an ideal world, in an ideal planet, and as a biased Sunderland fan, you'd like to think that he'd like to stay at least one season and try his hand at the Premier League with Sunderland, and then whatever happens after that, it's a win-win for him. He's going to end up going somewhere else, isn't he? Or if we stay up, and we might stay up, which would be an amazing achievement, he might even progress further. We bring in better players, and we build bigger, and he's fell in love with the club. So that would be an ideal scenario. But it would not surprise me, and I am fully expecting him to leave. I don't want him to. I really, really like Jobe. I still think there's so much potential within that lad. As good as he's been at times this season, you could just see there's mountains of potential waiting to be tapped into with Jobe Bellingham. But yeah, that's one thing. I think if it is going to happen, they're going to announce it quickly, purely so then we can move on and get a replacement. And if we are to sell Jobe, I would expect bare minimum 25 million. Now that we've been promoted, I think if we didn't get promoted, I would have been more happy with 20 odd. I think anywhere between 25 and 30 million for his age, his potential. I think that's more than fair. But sorry, I'm still recovering from Wembley. So yeah, that is it with Jobe. Hopefully he does stay. Fingers crossed he does stay. I think it'd be great to build with him, but I do semi-expect him to leave. Hopefully that isn't the case. But either way, and yeah, one last thing. Is the potential away kits for next season. It started to surface with a few tweets last night or yesterday afternoon, suggesting that someone was doing the photo shoots, for the away kits like they do. They do the promo shoots, don't they? And they were down Roker Beach. And there was just a few people saying, yeah, it was the blue kit, but everyone were trying to put 2 and 2 together. Which blue kit is it? And then we got a picture of like the back of someone, but you couldn't quite make out what it was. And now we've got this one that's, granted, it isn't the best quality. I'll put it up now, but you could see what it is. It definitely takes inspiration from, I think it was like a 1990s away kit, and of course prior to that as well, there's been plenty of blue kits of this style, and I think this looks absolutely beautiful. Again, the quality isn't great, and we'll see more in the weeks to come. However, I would absolutely put my hand in my pocket to buy this kit, which I do with most kits anyway. I jokingly said online after the Wembley weekend that someone's going to have to tell me, landlord, I'm not going to be able to pay rent. I don't think I'm going to be able to pay rent for the foreseeable, let alone this month with the way we're going with these kits and stuff. So if anyone wants to become a channel member and help me pay rent, that'd be massively appreciated. No, but yeah, that's everything, guys. Just let us know how you feel about who would you offer new contracts, who would you like to see leave. Obviously, in the weeks to come, I will make more videos and more in-depth content, but this is just a bit of a ramble, and there's been a few things going on at once, so I thought I'd at least bring it to your attention. What do you think about Jobe? What do you think would be acceptable price? Would you like to see him play in the Premier League with Sunderland? I personally would, of course, in an ideal world. And what do you think about the kit as well? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you've enjoyed, smash the like button. Let's hit 500 likes. I've left it too late to ask for a number, haven't I? This isn't going to hit 500 likes now, is it? Either way, let's just hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Take care. Stay jammy. How are the lads?